Welcome everyone, it's Jason Bennett, Pop Code HQ, back with another edition of Pants Optional. It's our Zoom interview segment where we chat with comic book creators about their latest projects and get the lowdown from the waist up. Today I'm joined by one of the co-creators of the wildly successful CANTO series, writer David M. Booher. He has a new title coming out from Dark Horse Comics entitled Killer Queens, a hilarious sci-fi epic coming this August. He's putting the sass in assassin. Please welcome creator, writer David Booher. David!
I really should have no pants on for this because this series is just so over the top, and I love it so much. I got the question. So putting the sass in assassin, Killer Queens, we brought together an all LGBTQ creative team to create a big queer sci-fi space romp about two gay former intergalactic assassins for hire on the run from their boss, who is a fluffy monkey with a jetpack. They still have to eat, so they take a new job that's a non-assassination job. It's a kidnapping extraction from a nearby planet that's run by a group of fascist, can I swear?
Oh, sure.
Okay, fascist asshats. So, they're the Killer Queens, so nothing really goes according to plan and hijinks ensue. There's lots of sparkles and rainbows and all kinds of fun stuff. It's a love letter to, I love retrofuturism and I love mid-century sci-fi. I love the vibe of it. I love the feel of it, but some of the themes and some of the presentation of a lot of things is so antiquated, and we have such a different sensibility now. So I wanted to meld the 21st century sensibility about being progressive and inclusive and representative with that mid-century sci-fi vibe. And what came out, no pun intended, was the Killer Queens. So that's where we are. Claudia Balboni is on art, Harry Saxon is on colors, and Lucas Gattoni is on letters, and it's coming from Dark Horse Comics, set to land on August 18th with covers by Balboni and Saxon, Chris Abels, who did our super fun Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, Don Bluth tribute, and Jen Bartel, who did our Boris Vallejo gender swapped tribute to this sort of sci-fi sword and sorcery thirst traps from the 60s and 70s. So
it's nice. Thank you for sending me the advanced copy of it.
Oh, good.
The thing that I noticed the most, and I caught it like right after I looked at the last page. The whole time reading it, I was like smiling the whole time. And it's not something, because sometimes you're just reading or whatever, but it was just like the visuals, the story, the humor, all these different aspects. It was just, you just loved, just every single panel, man. And like you said, you partnered with Claudia Balboni, Harry Saxon, and Lucas Gattoni, making this an all LGBTQ creative team. How was it working with an all new creative team outside of CANTO? You've been done so much lately with Drew Zucker, Victoria Stoney, and Darren Bennett of And World Design. Here you're teamed up with a new cast.
Yeah, so they're all amazing and wonderful people, super easy to work with, incredibly talented. I knew Claudia from Fair Lady at Image.
Okay.
I knew Harry from Vagrant Queen at Vault.
Oh, sure.
And Lucas, I knew his work. Now I can't remember exactly how we're friends on social media.
Okay.
And Lucas in particular, as a letterer, is so incredible. I sent him the pitch for Killer Queens, and I gave all these references to like Planet Comics and Weird Science and all these 40s and 50s sci-fi, the Popular Mechanic covers from that era, and just said this is the vibe. And everybody got it, but in Lucas in particular, he sent me back this really long email, and it was a whole proposal about how stylistically he was going to approach lettering. And so it wasn't for him just a it's another job, I'll just letter it. It was, what can I do stylistically to fit the goal of what we were doing?
right.
And then he starts lettering it, and it is just unbelievable. The choices he makes, the sound effects, and the style, everything. It really is just wonderful to have him. And
So
Harry did the first issue of Colors, and just I told him primary colors. That was about the extent of the notes. And he came back and he just was like just exploded off the page, and we love that. And of course Claudia's art is fantastic. So
great.
um it kind of all clicked with the team, and it really got the vibe that I was hoping for. So I was really happy with it.
That's cool about Lucas and being able to put his own flair, specifically for this title. I'm
And he
gonna have to
just
go
felt
back.
so invested. He just felt so
Yeah.
invested in the series, that I just thought it was so nice to have. Everybody
I,
says credit the letterers, and you got to always credit the letterers, and I fully believe that.
I,
And in this
yes.
and in this circumstance, Lucas brought so much value that this is why we credit letterers, because they bring so much value.
Oh, definitely. That's something that we do at Pop Code HQ with our reviews. Is I've always had myself and all our writers. You're going to critique each contributor's work on the issue
Yeah.
or the book, and then kind of collectively like an overall assessment. But yes, a colorist, a letterer. I take the time to go to lambot.com,
Picos, yeah.
Nate Picos's website, and
Yeah.
learn. Teach myself about kerning and all these different things. There's a lot more than it's not just slapping some letters on.
I know I've thought
I
I've
really
thought
appreciate it.
I could do, maybe I could do letters, and then I just dip my toe into that field, and I'm like, nope, 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 and I walk away. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah. I mean,
I would be remiss not to mention we were in the New York Times. So very recent.
yes.
Yeah. So
I saw
so
you actually picked up a physical copy too.
I was able to get, they ran it in print in the art section. It was a Pride Month uh, segment that George Jean Gustings, the reporter, who is an enormous comic book fan, did this article, and he selected 8 books to I'll be on the lookout for Pride Month, and Killer Queens was one of them. And
Awesome.
you better believe I'm going to cut that article right out of that newspaper and mat it and frame it,
Heck
and
yeah.
just geek out, because man, just to it's just so it's incredible. It was incredible to be in the New York Times, especially for a brand new series that's just out for pre-orders. To have that moment of exposure, it
Well,
could
yeah,
be the make
and
or break.
exposure, and it really validates what you guys are doing. That
Yeah.
it is getting noticed on a larger scale, maybe than you realize, or just who this title and this character is impacting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic,
And
man.
I'm thrilled, because I just, somebody asked me the question, Kanto and Killer Queens are so different. What, how did I approach that? Um, and it's just love the stories that you're telling, just love them so much that you would make them even if nobody else did, or even if no publisher wanted it. And that's what I'm so thrilled about the New York Times, because I just love these characters and I love this story so much. It's so much fun for me. This is something that me as a 13-year-old would just have devoured. It's so
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
that I guess that's what's most thrilling to me. It's not that, I got to be in the New York Times, or it's that Killer Queens now has a real shot of being successful, and we can continue going on with it.
Kind of picking up on that, there is a lot going on in Killer Queens, and it seems like this title could reach or connect with fans of a handful of genres and wide audiences. What type of readers or fans do you think will really connect with Killer Queens?
Well, I hope the
Because I mean,
LG,
like I said, there's comedy, it's sci-fi. I mean,
yeah.
retro pulp.
I mean, I really wrote it. I wrote it for a lot, broad audience, but I also wrote it for me, because it's all the stuff that I love. Um,
Sure.
but LGBTQ community, I, I I would hope would be interested in reading it. But then beyond that, sci-fi fans, if you want a little, 10, 15 minutes uh, uh, vacation from the rest of the world, which is very dark and problematic, and there's lots of things going on, and sometimes you just want to escapism, and
Sure.
that's what that's what this is. Pick up Killer Queens if you want something, if you're a comics reader and you want something fun, and you want to follow two characters who understands they don't take themselves too seriously, uh and I
Right.
think that's a huge, and they're very aware of that, so I think that's what's so uh exciting about the story, is that you can go along and they sort of know, you sort of know, we're all in on the joke, and you have a great time by the time you get to the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. I know, like I said, I enjoyed the first issue, and when I was doing
If
some researching, well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead. What were you gonna
Oh,
say?
no, I was just saying that, while I was researching online, getting ready for interview questions and stuff, I found something I read, and found it curious. Uh, how does Killer Queens tackle issues of love and xenophobia and the terror of
Sure.
fascist dictatorship in this series?
So, these two characters, I never wanted to write a story that was just about like your typical queer storyline, like coming out, bullying, those sorts of things. They'll creep in there, but the story is, I call it, sort of tongue in cheek, my dad joke is Guardians of the Galaxy, because that's that's sort of what
Okay,
it is. It's like we're gonna have fun and it's gonna be cool, fun storylines. The planet
right.
that they go to do this new job is run by a fascist dictator, and so there's a lot of things in there about um, the other and persecution of those who don't look like you and don't think like you, and control and thought control and those sorts of things that these two, Max and Alex, are going to face when they get down there. And of course, they're going to do it in a fun, you know, ed- actiony, funny way. But they're really going to tackle they're going to be faced with, hard choices about what they do and who they help, and, what they sacrifice to do it. It never gets too heavy, but we also never ever shy away from those big questions about fascism and xenophobia and fear of the other, which I think was very prevalent in the 50s when you look at McCarthyism and post World War II, um, and racism that was around, and it was just such a fear of people who don't look like us, don't act like us, don't think like us, and to
Right.
not uh, explore those things in a comic that sort of pays tribute to the feel of those comics from that era would be kind of a disservice to the audience, to today's audience. So we really do face those questions, but we do it in a way that you're not going to put it down and just feel like it's a drag. You're going to still be laughing. You're going to still be enjoying the adventure,
Right.
while, potentially thinking about these things that we still face today.
It's gonna. I'm excited to see the rest of the series. A lot of fun. I know we were talking about Lucas and being able to put his flair on this one. Do you feel by having a full representation of the LGBTQ creators that it enhanced the creative process for this series?
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I think yeah, I think, um, I am definitely not one of those people who think that only queer authors can write queer characters. I think a character is a character, and whatever characteristics they have, you can, as a writer, tackle that. But that said, having an all LGBTQ creative team, one, I think lends a huge amount of credibility to the book as a queer sci-fi, adventure. And two, there are things that I know I mine from my own experience growing up as part of the LGBTQ community, that people who are not part of this, who are not part of this community,
Mhm.
I have 42 years of growing up with being part of that community and bringing those experience. You never know when it bubbles up, and you never know when you're going to be able to fold it into a story, and I just feel so fortunate to be able to embrace that, and have aspects of these characters that don't necessarily, like, what are their insecurities? What's some of the emotional baggage they bring from when they were teenagers and early 20s and those sorts of things. And I feel like the all LGBTQ creative team can add a layer to this story, even though it's a fun, funny sci-fi romp. It creates storytelling opportunities that may not be there, if we didn't put together the team that we've put together. So
Right, and really lend to the credibility of the characters and
authenticity, yeah.
right, the interactions and things like that. Um,
And
and so now,
representation matters, Jason.
oh, definitely.
Representation in the comics community in particular, and to create this queer book with an all queer team is I think a great opportunity for all of us to amplify our own voices.
And Dark Horse loved it. They picked it up. They're gonna be publishing it.
Yeah.
How was that? Making the pitch to them, and what was their reaction? What was the, what really pulled them into saying, yeah, we want this, we want to publish this for you.
Well, this was before the pandemic, so I just waltzed into their offices up in the Pacific Northwest, and I said, "Don't you know who I am?" Threw it on their desk. There's
Kind
definitely
of a big
the
deal. Kind of a big
yeah,
deal.
kind of a big deal. No, it definitely nothing like that happened. Anybody listening to this, that's I'm joking. Um, they gravitated toward it for the same reasons that I did, which is the all queer creative team, the story, the fun of it, the feel of it. I don't think they necessarily have anything that's quite particularly in this wheelhouse of this like retro sci-fi vibe. Um, and I think they've been incredibly supportive of the story we want to tell and the team and everything that we've done. And so I think they really wanted to be supportive of this book and us. And they have been. And I think, and that's another reason why the New York Times, being in the New York Times, it's like Dark Horse is taking a chance on this. We're taking
Right.
a chance on this. And when something like that comes in, it's like you said, it's validation that maybe the chance that we're taking isn't as much of a chance as we thought. So who knows? The book
But
hasn't
what's
come out
what's
yet. So
well, what's refreshing is that we're maybe not at the greatest speed or rate, but people, organizations, businesses, they are becoming more open to expanding their mind, their views, to see more things. They want to, you know, uh, like, could you make this comic in the 1950s?
heck
Yeah,
no.
it'll probably be a little underground thing,
Yeah.
but now we're continually moving in the direction of more people finally, you know, accepting and
Yeah.
supporting and cheerleading, um, the LGBTQ community in this. And it's so great that you have a medium with which you can, like you said, talk about some of your life's experience, kind of imbue that into the story a little bit, and your fellow creators can as well.
Yeah. And it's just such an amazing opportunity to be able to tell a story like this and have a major publisher take the chance on it. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen down the road. I have a feeling, um, I have very high hopes that it's going to be successful. And I have not experienced, I'm waiting for it, Jason, but I haven't experienced any of you know, the online crazies uh,
Okay.
who do some of this, who get grumpy about, representation in comics. Uh, I have a feeling that we have created a comic book that is a little bulletproof in a way,
Okay.
just because of the story that we're telling.
Hmm.
There's a level of confidence that we all have in this in storytelling. You know, in this particular story, that I think it's going to take the wind out of their sails. We're not like on a, you know, on the soapbox, you know,
Right,
shaking.
right. And like you said earlier, that their sexuality isn't, you know, the main driving focus behind the series. It's kind of, you know, I mean, there's an actual story and an adventure and this going on. And yes, they happen to be, you know, type of thing
Yeah,
but that's not, you know, your push. So, you know, haters gonna hate. Uh, you know,
I just want that one YouTube video or one of these guys goes in and is like, damn it, I really wanted to hate this book and I actually enjoyed it. So that's
don't
all I
you love
want.
that?
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's great. That's the best. Hey, so want to let everyone know, Collector's Paradise, a comic book shop in California, is offering signature series comic books where you can pre-order and get the complete series signed by a creator. They have creators that come into their shop, do some signings, get some books set aside for them, and take care of their online customers. They are currently offering the signature series for Killer Queens, issues 1 through 4, all signed by David Booher. And all you have to do is prepay for the complete miniseries. Its cover comes to $15.99. All of them will come signed by David. Certificate of authenticity. It's a fantastic deal. They're great with packaging and shipping, taking care, making sure your order gets to you in good shape. And once the final issue of the series is released, you'll get that whole 4-issue series come at you with David's signature. And what we at Pop Cult HQ have done, since we love David, we love what he does, and this book is, it's, you guys are in for a surprise, man. You're gonna get hooked. What we've done is we went ahead and prepaid one of these signature series for Killer Queens issues 1 through 4 from Collector's Paradise, which David will be signing, and we're gonna give it away to fans of Pop Cult HQ, fans of David Booher. Wednesday, June 30th, popculthq.com and social media. Our social media channels will announce person selected to get all 4 copies signed by David, because we know you're going to want this series in your collection, and get him signed, man, before he starts charging for signatures, you know, before he's,
Yeah,
you know,
and
before he's a really big deal, you
oh
know.
my gosh. Yeah, and the one thing I will add is,
Yeah,
you know, if this goes by the way Canto did, we can all hope, right? But that first issue of Canto is really hard to get, and so the folks who got in early were able to reserve their copy. We've got you know, the fabulous covers by Chris Abels and Jen Bartel and Claudia and Harry. So, you know, pre-orders are open right now. Get on board early. So when
definitely.
it
And in the
becomes a
graphics, we'll give you all the item codes and connect you with Previews World
and there's a
and comic shop locator to find a comic book retailer near you. I was wondering if you guys were going to do anything like you did with Canto on social media, but love it.
yeah,
Cool.
we got
Well,
some fun quotes from creators, and we're just doing our promotional push right now. So
yeah, you know, get a little early preview and sneak peek at what David and his creative team have put together in Killer Queens, coming to you from Dark Horse Comics. When was it coming in? August?
August 18th.
August 18th. Okay. I kept bouncing around with the Canto interview. Definitely pre-order now at your local comic shop or favorite online retailer for Killer Queens #1. David, thank you so much. Mega success coming your way, man. 2021's gonna end. It's gonna be phenomenal for you. Just yeah, man. You get your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and just blowing up. So
let's thank you. I love your optimism. I just want to go for some pre-orders for Killer Queens.
yes, yes, get them in now, and we're looking forward to giving away to lucky fans. So thanks again, David, for taking the time, man. Love
Thank
talking.
you. Always great to come on and chat with you, Jason.